Living in a post-pandemic world can be challenging, even more so for college students. In recent years, mental health issues for this large group of the population have skyrocketed. But we are here to let you know that it's okay to not be okay, and that effective, easily accessible help is available.
College of DuPage is really focused on student success. And anytime a student is struggling, and I think even with mental health issues, it gets in the way of student success.
School has always been stressful, for students. I don't think that's going to go away. I think that's just going to continue.
We, I think, don't appreciate the college transition as being one of the most challenging periods in one's life.
Obviously, there's a huge amount of stress that students are dealing with, and I think it's coming at them from all areas. I think it's personal lives, I think it's difficulties with relationships, I think it's difficulty with the transition from adolescence into adulthood.
I have students that just have difficulty coming to campus because they get so anxious being surrounded by other students. Some of them, they can't even leave their cars to walk to their classroom and be with other students because it's just so anxiety provoking.
And while you may not think that mental illnesses are common, data tells another story.
Very clearly, the numbers for mental health concerns have significantly gone up. Before COVID, the numbers were about 8% of US adults would say that they had felt depression.
Anxiety probably can be diagnosed, I think, in about 55% of the US population. Very, very high rates.
I would say about 75% of our students experience some type of mental health issue.
When adding these numbers to the already stressful lives of college students, it's easy to see they are facing some challenging times. A recent study of College of DuPage students about mental health revealed some surprising data.
Anxiety was the highest, with about 80% of students endorsing that they experienced anxious symptoms in the past 12 months. Things like depression were about 60%. Issues with family was more than 50% of our students who responded to the survey indicated that family was a source of distress.
Left untreated, depression and anxiety can lead to severe consequences, including death.
Depression is episodic, so the episodes will keep coming back more severe. Obviously, there is a functional impact, but in terms of suicidality, what is concerning is that it is now the number 2 cause of death in individuals between the age of 15 and 55.
And so we have to ask, what's going on? What is going on with young people that they're thinking about dying by suicide? I think there is a lot going on in their environments and society that are just, triggering.
So what are the causes of mental illness?
With mental illness, the causes are still quite vague. What we do know through things like twin studies or family studies, that there is a genetic component to many mental illnesses.
There is a neurochemical basis that we know has been demonstrated. And then there is the hormonal theory of depression, where you look at postpartum depression and those conditions. There is the stress diathesis model of depression, which is related to folks being under undue stress.
But we also know that there is a social component to it. So how is the environment affecting people? So is there trauma at an early age, for example? How our relationships in childhood affect us, neglect or living environment?
The symptoms of mental illness aren't always easy to recognize.
It's so much more common. I think anybody can say that there's a day sometimes that they just feel down. Sometimes they just don't feel like they're themselves. And the tipping point just becomes, though, is, well, how long does that go for? And how much is it impacting me in my day-to-day life? And there's where sometimes we start to look at, well, what is maybe a short-term, brief, normal reaction to what's happening in my life versus maybe something a little bit more serious that may warrant some professional attention.
Friends and family can be a great tool for seeing what's going on with somebody, for identifying if there is something that seems off. And what that thing that could be off is significant changes, again, that have lasted for a long period of time. That could be changes in the way the person's eating, in the way the person's sleeping. So sleeping a lot more, sleeping a lot less, eating a lot more, eating a lot less, isolating. All of those can be indications, and family and friends, I think, are a great tool for kind of reading that and sussing that out, because they'll see if something's off with the person, and if it's not just like a bad day, but it's, this has been going on for a significant period of time.
Before treatment can begin, a diagnosis must be made.
Diagnosing is something that takes a little bit of time. Our focus is looking at thoughts, feelings, behaviors. There is no such thing as a blood test you can take that if you go to a doctor, like for other illnesses, you can go in, you can, get tested for, do you have strep or not? What's causing that sore throat? With mental health, unfortunately, we're not there yet. We can't just go in and do blood work and say, this is what you have.
And getting a good assessment is important. So high-functioning individuals may not even identify it. Others in their family may identify and say, hey, it looks like you may be depressed. People that are high-functioning may all of a sudden experience an episode and not realize that part of what's contributing to their challenges is depression.
Looking at our diagnostic statistical manual, all of that is referenced in there. So clinicians kind of have this idea, all right, this person's presenting with depression, and we know their mother was diagnosed with depression, and a sibling was diagnosed, and so that might mean that they're more likely to also experience depression.
But what we can do is get a sense of, what have your thoughts been? What have your feelings been? What are your behaviors like? How long has it been going for? Are other people noticing these things? And that's what can kind of help us narrow in and understand what is it that's really happening as far as a diagnosis, which then can drive our treatment.
After a diagnosis is made, many effective treatments are available.
So if you do have a diagnosis and the professional says, it looks like you do have anxiety, or it looks like you do have depression, they can talk to you and collaborate on a number of treatment options.
There's multiple types of treatment for mental health. So starting with talk therapy, I think that's what most people think of when they feel like, okay, I've been depressed or anxious, I'm going to go talk with somebody.
Cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the gold standards of effective treatments. Changing your behaviors in order to change your thoughts, and vice versa.
The problem-focused cognitive behavior therapy can be very effective. So, this is not therapy where, you're talking about growing up or anything. It's very, very problem-focused. You understand the triggers, you understand your thinking and your reaction around the triggers, you understand, and you develop strategies to manage those.
We also have medications. So there are definitely some types of diagnoses that benefit from medications.
The medication options are plenty. Most of them are very safe. None of them have any long-term, serious effects. There are other approaches now that are looking at, for example, glutamate and the ketamine approaches to depression, which is really looking at a new approach to treating depression, which has had some wonderful results. We've also had something that I've researched myself, is transcranial magnetic stimulation, where you really apply a magnetic field over the surface of the brain to stimulate it. That has had some wonderful results.
It might include different things you can do for yourself in terms of physical exercise, changing your diet, some simple things that may benefit you, and in conjunction, there may be a menu of 2 or 3 different things that works best for that person.
As you can see, a variety of mental illnesses are common among college students. But the good news is, easy-to-access, proven, effective help is available. College of DuPage offers free counseling, available through counseling, advising, and transfer services. Located in the Student Services Center, SSC 3200, or by calling 630-942-2259.
Give us a call, let us know what's going on and what you need, and then we'll help you out. We'll figure out what you need to do. We'll connect you with a counselor who will have a conversation with you about what's going on with you. And from there, we're going to figure out how to best help.
Once you're in the door and get the appointment, I think that's the hard part is over. But it's kind of getting that courage to make the appointment and to call and get set up. But once you're in our office and you're meeting with us, students will often tell us that it wasn't as scary as they thought it would be, or they'll say, gosh, I waited like 3 months to call. I've been thinking about it for a long time. But now, I'm glad I finally did.
It's all about not being alone. It's all about, really knowing that the college is here, the college cares, and we want you to be successful. Everybody who comes here has a goal. We want them to be able to achieve that goal.
College of DuPage offers free counseling, available through counseling, advising, and transfer services. If you are thinking of suicide or hurting yourself, dial 988 immediately. The Suicide and Crisis Helpline provides free, confidential support. Help is waiting 24 hours a day, every day,